Climate change. Is it real? False? I decided to ask an expert.
I worked for the British Antarctic Survey for 25 years. I was a glaciologist. Climate change today is being caused by our own release of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere through industrialisation and the fact that there are more and more people living on the planet now than there were, shall we say, 200 or 300 years ago. The chief problem with climate change is the water cycle. There are going to be many people in the future who are going to be living in countries where there is just simply enough water for their continued existence. This is particularly true in southern Europe, when all the projections are that places like Spain and Portugal are going to get drier and drier in the future. So the first impact is on the water cycle. The second impact is on sea level. Present projections show that sea level is going to rise perhaps by a metre by the year 2100. It's the displacement of human beings from where they live now because of sea level change, and because of the change of moisture content of the air, food production will have to shift, and that'll have a big impact on us all. I doubt that climate change itself will destroy humanity, but I do see that if climate change goes the way of unfettered climate change, there will be a lot of public dissent.
Though small in the grand scheme of things, there are those in Inverness who take part in the fight against climate change.
Well, Extinction Rebellion is really me and you, it's everybody. It's not any kind of exclusive group you have to become a member of anything. It's really for anyone who's concerned about the kind of issues we're facing.
So Extinction Rebellion has 3 demands at the moment in the UK. Number one is tell the truth, and that's all about government declaring there is a climate emergency and working with other institutions, predominantly the media, to communicate truth to the public. The second demand is act now. That's all about getting greenhouse gas emissions down to net zero by 2025 and stopping biodiversity loss. And the third demand is creating a citizens' assembly which will lead the government on making the changes that need to happen in order to slow down climate breakdown.
Raising awareness is the number one activity, causing disruption, because we've marched, we've signed petitions, nothing's changed. And it has, the activities we've done have actually created a lot of publicity and non-violent civil disobedience, which is key.
Even politically, there are parties that were founded on the belief of being eco-friendly.
Well, the Scottish Green Party are a party in their own right, part of an international group of Green parties. The whole system of capitalism that doesn't take account of the future, its only purpose is to make profits. Really, the companies that were benefiting from climate change had an awful lot of power and still do. We really need to change the whole system.
A system we are a part of. We the people, the average person, are also responsible for the negative effect on climate change. We demand a supply that requires the destruction of the environment. But altogether can also be the heroes of the story. Supply requires demand. We just need to change our demands. But there is a sacrifice.
Climate change is a real issue. It's just not a comfortable issue. In the end, it does mean that people like you and I have got to change our lifestyle. We can't expect technology to just solve the problem of climate change. It requires individuals to do different things in the future than they might have expected to do. The average person's contributed to climate change mainly by, I think, their travel, by car or by airplane. This in itself creates a carbon problem from the emissions from the cars and from the aeroplanes. It's what you eat, how you dress, how hot your house is, and how much you travel. It is a difficult decision that people have to make, is whether to really take climate change seriously. And if you do, you question everything you buy, you question everything you eat, you question where you travel and why you travel, and you stay as locally as you possibly can. The other thing that we can do to reduce our individual carbon footprint is to buy less. It's to buy things that last and not be swayed every moment by what's the most topical thing to buy that year. Fast fashion is probably a third of all producing all the gases of climate change. A third of it is fast fashion. So just buy what lasts and don't buy too much, and cherish what you own rather than feeling you've got to buy something new, and that would make a considerable impact as well.
You don't need to buy the latest stuff, the cheapest stuff. You can go to second-hand shops, you can swap stuff with your friends, you know. There's ways to do it.
And this is a very simple thing to do. You eat less meat, you eat more vegetarian food, and you in fact help the entire environment.
So the way you shop is political. Organic food is so important, you know. I hope you include this, because pesticides are killing the bees, killing the insects. We need them for survival.
People should start to live in cooler homes, wear more sweaters. It's quite simple. And it's this very uncomfortable feeling that once you know about it, you can't go on as you were, that makes the topic one that's not brought to the surface that often.